Traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you guys are tuning in, be sure to hit that thumbs up. And before we jump into this one, before we talk about this max loss day, let's take a look at our disclaimer here. Just remember, guys, that day trading is risky. Remember that it takes time to learn, become successful, efficient, competent, experienced. So take it slow. Utilize simulators, utilize small accounts, practice and improve before getting aggressive. Remember that my results are not typical. And other than that, remember to be careful of fake accounts. I will never message you first. Be careful of the fake Relentless Trader accounts. All right. And that's on all platform, all social media, Discord, every platform. Be very careful. Okay, with that being said, let's talk about this miserable day here. Yesterday we went max loss to green, and we talked about how you could potentially pull off a successful red to green. Well, today we're going to talk about what not to do when you hit max loss, what not to do when you give back half your profits, because believe it or not, I was up today over, do I have my trader view? I was up today over, let's pull this up. Let's come to the calendar. Look at the miserableness of this month. I was up over at one point on this day almost $2,000 before you know what hit the fan and everything went into the depths. We did start off down 600, and this happened in one trade where we thought the stock looked pretty good on the pullback. It really crashed out on us, and we were able to still recover. We recovered nicely, got up all the way to 2K, and just so abrupt. What was this, from 950 by in the next 10 minutes we're already almost back down to flat. Just despicable, right? So we're going to talk about it here. We're going to even watch some film here as well. So JTAI, you know what? This is the elephant in the room. Okay, we'll save this one for last. We'll go through the list here. We'll go through the progression. So if we come to the monitor screen, you guys will see we're red. Let's get this in order here. So 2K JTAI, 1K SINT. We're green OSRH 1000 and green $50 LYT. So LYT, okay, let's start here. Let's just take a quick look. This one, cheaper stock. I guess not much. I wasn't watching it too closely, so I missed most of the red to green. But it did look like it offered some nice opportunities for those people who might have caught this stretch right here. But other than that, our first pullback, which again, we really want to see these areas hold up. This one, instead of giving that follow through big green candle to the upside, completely and utterly reversed. And this is where you got to be careful as a trader. If you're watching this consolidation, and even if you're buying this pullback, you got to be quick to cut the trade at a certain point, because if not, if you don't get out, then you're probably selling all the way down here, and it's just a brutal loss. So you got to be very careful. That's LYT. So moving on to SINT. SINT was the stock that we really and truly traded first, I believe. And so just for some context, pre-market, this one went from lows around 334 to a high of 596. And very similar to yesterday, we didn't really hold up, but at the very least, it did give a curl later in the day. We'll talk about that in a bit. So this did look decent, and I will say this is another trade that I missed because I was pulling up the charts on my other screens. So I have a monitor to my right. This is to my right here, which no one can see except me, right? So I had this up there on an extra screen, on an extra chart. I'm trading it. And okay, let me try and pull it up quickly for the YouTube audience, even for the chat room members. And in the moment of doing so, I did miss this 1 minute candle to make a new high right here, right in this area. I missed this right here on this candle right here. So that was a little disappointing. One. And two, sadly, this thing completely and utterly reverses. So after it made this push, so we had a high of 545, we got up to 550. It pulled back to about 25 or 30, I believe. I bought 30 thinking, and I did meet my criteria at the point. level 2 wise, price action wise, to jump in for the retest, hoping this would then retest the highs, if not right away, maybe a gradual sideways thing like that, and then retest. This thing absolutely just, I mean, what's going on with the flushes, right? Below low of day, which at the time after the open we had 496. If we zoom out, we'll see that pre-market lows towards the consolidation was around 488. Not only did it blow below 96, but flushed out all the way to 62, and then even to then 440. So at this point, I thought this thing was done. Later in the day, I saw it brewing right in this area. I'm like, hey, you know what? Hopefully SINT can save the day. This is after everything. The first round of JTAI, the first round of OSRH. I'm like, hey, hopefully this one can save the day. And I mean, this thing took off like lightning. I believe I have the recording. Let's just take a look at this, right? Maybe I'll see something that I might have missed in the moment. But this thing took off like nobody's business, man. And I should have gotten the timestamp. Hold on, let's just double check the timestamp here. That was 10:54 a.m. market time. So let's come on down. Right around here. So you can see I had my mouse cursor there. I'm watching at it. And the way how it was moving, so if we were to come back a little bit, we're kind of just consolidating below the VWAP, not really showing too much volume. There's a little bit of green on the tape, there's a little bit of red. Man, I don't, it looks okay. Watching back, it already looks much better. Hold up. Let's just actually look a full 30 seconds prior. Was I distracted talking? I don't know. I mean, it already looks better looking back at that area right there. There's some sellers. Okay, look at this. So there's some sellers, right? As usual, the whole dollar, half dollars shows a little bit more clearly here. So we got like 31,000, 6,000, 35,000 total from what is showing. Could there be hidden sellers as well, perhaps? And right here, we were up 1,800. We gave back. We went back to flat. And this thing could have done wonders if we were more aggressive to jump in. Looking back on the tape, it already looks good, right? But I don't know why in the moment I felt like there wasn't a chance to get in. And it just, I mean, oh my gosh. Look at the move, man. Oh, that is tragic. Looking back at that, I have no excuse to not have taken that trade. Now, I don't know. Was I? I mean, I can listen to the recording. Like, was I talking? My mouse cursor's up on there, so I should have been paying attention. Did I look over to the chat? Did I look to the 5 minute chart? Because those are things that can happen if you look away from the tape within that like 4 or 5 second area. You're cooked. You missed a move. So I missed this, and this part is definitely on me for sure. Whether I was distracted here or not, we're still gonna take accountability. But for sure, right here, man, for sure, right here, I could have done a better job. I took a little too long jumping in, got the higher fill on this candle, and ended up not holding it for the big move. So, man, mm, 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 mm. Wow. SINT. Strong move, but short-lived. Immediately sold off after that. So that was it for that one. And then we have OSRH. Let's talk about this one here. Pre-market started around 370s, 380s, pushed up all the way to 995. Very strong move. Lighter volume though. If we check out the volume here, just 60,000 shares a candle. Sometimes pre-market can have trouble, some problems, with liquidity. I think this is one of those type of stocks. For me, it'll be very difficult to take trades here with just 30, 60,000 shares. Anyhow, as it sells off, It does make a bit of a rally around 825. It pulls back, lows around $5, and coming into the open, this thing starts to curl. We started off with a red to green, lows at 504. It rips up to 584, then gets halted up at 610. I don't believe I traded it right away. I don't believe I traded it right away. Yeah, because I still was watching JTAI at some point. Let's see. So I pulled it up around. Okay, it was already halted up before I pulled it up. Yeah, so I didn't really get a chance to jump in right away. So out of the resumption, we had a low of 23, a high of 85. It honestly wasn't that clean right away. I think I didn't do well up until this dip at 652. And we can double check. I remember I was in 7,000, like 7,000 shares. Let's go back and watch this on so let's see, 38. I'm curious to just check the position here quickly. Let's reset for today. That's around 943. 943. Okay. Okay. Oh my God, I started off small size too. 2,000 shares at 7. You know what? And I think the day was kind of slow to this point. See this? I mean, man, like, this kills me to see this, man. This is at 944. We had a massive trade here to 65 and 50. See this. I mean, this is the thing, man. It's so tricky because there's gonna be days where you use size and you're using size too soon. At this point, SINT, JTAI were a little tricky and choppy. And so I came into this one with some hesitation. But it does suck to see that we had such a nice trade here. I can't even remember having this trade, but such a nice trade with such small size. I mean, if we're in there like 6,000 shares, we're already up 3K just in this trade. So, money can be made for sure. All right, money can be made. I think it got halted up again. So over here is where we decided, okay, we're going for it. Let's see. And this, oh my gosh, look at this loss here. Jeez. 763 out at 724. My goodness. Back in at 20. And you know what? In this trade, I don't even remember I can't even remember taking a loss, but man, this is brutal. And look at this. So I'm back in. Oh my gosh, man. Wow. I'm back in at 22 and 52. And this trade, I sold one of these trades early, right here. I did say on real time on the stream, I sold this position. This is my chance here. On this trade right here was my chance, man. And I freaking sold one of these positions. I knew I wasn't supposed to sell it, but the fear when the stock had like stalled out a little bit, I needed to hold. I needed to hold. Because if this position gains another 50 cents, it's like another 1,800 at this point. Because it's got to 8, like, what was that? 817. It's like another 2K almost. It's like another 2K. So I sold soon, but this is an epic trade. This is the trade I remember. So looking back and seeing that we had the trade with 1,000 shares and made like 60 cents, and then on top of that, this trade is quite monstrous. But we did take a loss here. I guess it's not so bad after following it up with this type of trade, but still 63 and out at 24 is brutal. Brutalization. And that's all in this range right here. Because after, and there's a halt here, I believe, right? So after, was there? After this this stock started to move like a totally new stock. They robbed me. Actually, they didn't rob me. I watched it back. I was a little slow to buy, perhaps waiting for a little too much confirmation at the bottom of this candle, and I got filled all the way at 29 right here. And so when that happened, I wasn't able to hold for the continued move. I don't know how long I would have held it. I said 50. We did get to 50 on this next candle. And the reason why I'm not looking to hold this indefinite is because I thought it was backside. But to 50 would have at least been good because I'm in at 30 out at 7. Or at least took a loss rather than being in and getting a win and maybe having more confidence to just give it a buy and hold longer. Because at this point it was moving very differently and I was out of whack, out of rhythm. But anyhow, after that I couldn't do anything and I gave back. I gave back, I think, in one other area trying to get this breakout and then on this pullback. And it pretty much got cooked also over here. It tried for break of 10. It didn't quite happen. We gave back a little more here and that was pretty much it. From green 2200 to only green 1K. And then now the disaster of JTAI. Man. JTAI, what can I say? Started off, and this is a continuation name, by the way, right? If we're to zoom out on the 5, you guys will see that it curled up on Friday of last week, sold off. Today it's back up, and initially it was a little slow to get going, but we had a bull flag here, a bit of a wedge, and once it broke over, this is where it took off. And again, it's sometimes key to be early, watching these stocks early, being in a good position, understanding the consolidation, and then really getting into it. Let's just see. So this is at 10:36. Was I there on time? 10:36. Guys, I ended up pausing the recap after I sneezed right there. Finished the entire recap and never hit start again. So now I have to come back. And you can see there's a jump in time here. It's 5 p.m. now. Unbelievable. Anyhows, I was talking about the flag right here on JTAI and the breakout and how I didn't really have my undivided attention. You can see I'm long OSRH, a small position on the dip. And I'm also in JTAI, and it's just not good. The dip, and this dip initially was working out fairly well. I'm in at 08. You can see we have 23 by 40. And I also at the time noticed JTAI might be ready to go. It's just, you got to sometimes pick and choose, man. And that's one of the trickier things of the market, opportunity cost. And so break of 6 is going to come, and I'm just not quite watching it. And so, okay, it's holding above the level. I try to just jump in here, hoping to see some continuation. And we're going to see some sellers at 8. 608 hidden sellers, perhaps. There's 6. There's 08. Oh, there's a 10,000 share seller. And we bought up the shares, but you can see it still didn't really go through. There's 9. It's then back down to 8. We never really dropped below 4. We never really dropped below 6. And this is one of those areas where I think I micromanaged the trade and sold too soon. And the moment I'm out, another couple seconds, there's the break to 17, then 30, 35, and then almost immediately up to 45, back down to 33, and then right up to 55 right here. Boom. Man, seeing all these opportunities like this, it really lets you know that this should have been a big green day, man. None of us, we don't have, if we're red today, we have no excuse. We have to be better for tomorrow. And then after this, it just, Titanic sells off there into the halt down. A little disappointing, and then retraces the entire move Christmas tree style. So that was JTAI up until later. I came back later and then I lost some more around 850, right? I believe here, right in this area here. And then this is where I really shut it down on the day. I think I could have done better on it if I was just more patient to stay in front of the screen. I said, hey, I'm down 1200. You know what? I think this is a max loss day. But similar to yesterday, I saw it moving up. But yesterday, the stock that we had, I think, which was SINT, if I'm not mistaken, um, or a different ticker symbol, whatever it was, there was a clear ABCD pattern. I knew the levels. On this particular stock, not quite the same. And so I came back and just wasn't really able to get a good rhythm, wasn't really able to capture it properly. You know, right here, looking away at this pullback, thinking perhaps backside, just not being patient enough, missing the bottom of the range and then the initial breakout of the range. This is the trade I took yesterday and got back to green. Today, I missed it. And then I think for me, you know, I'm just not focused enough when I do shut down the live stream, right? Because the stock started to pull back. I started to say, okay, maybe backside, maybe just time to get the heck out of here. I move from in front of the screen. I'll go grab a fruit, grab a water, something like that. And then before you know it, stock is back up and like I'm now coming back till here. And it's like you're just not gonna do well with you know with that level of inconsistency there. So I think if I'm gonna return similar to yesterday, you just gotta stick through, wait, you know, and then you know, dial it in. So a little disappointing there. And that was JTAI. You know, after that, I'm like, hey, that's it for me. And this one continued again in another uptrend to $11. So again, no excuse here on a day like this. And this thing might be in play tomorrow, being that it held up a little bit, hopefully. And hopefully tomorrow it moves a little bit better. But there's no excuse. JTAI, JTAI later in the day, JTI early in the day with breakouts like this, SINT early, or let's say the second move with a breakout like that. There's no excuse. We had OSRH where I was up 2.2. Again, no excuse. No excuse. It was a day to end green and we're down 2K. It's not good. So we got to come again tomorrow, lock in, look forward to the opportunities. As usual, check out those links down below. Remember our disclaimer. There's 3 links in particular, one for the chat room, one for the scanner, one for the classes. You guys can check out all 3 of those links. And then you can check out the disclaimer here once again on screen, which is that trading is risky. It takes time to learn. These results are not typical, red or green. A lot of people are hopefully using smaller size. But my results are not typical. If I'm to pull up my trader view here and come off of this, hold on. If I'm to pull up my trader view and show you guys, you know, my calendar, we could even go back to last, you know, let's go back to January. You guys will see some bigger green days. You know, these are not the typical results as most people are losing money, right? That's January 2024. I mean, what in contrary, right? We started off last year with 100K in gains in the first 2 months. Here we are in the new year struggling so far, right? These numbers like this, they're definitely not the typical numbers that you'll see on an everyday, unless it's like a monster trader, of course, right? So keep that in mind. But with that being said, that's going to do it. Hit that thumbs up. I think greatness is on the horizon, of course, but we got to do a better job on days like this, ending at least 500, 1K. Best case scenario, we do what we needed to do, traded extremely well, even better, and ended up a couple thousand, right? So hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.